Today is part 4 of our series on execution. And specifically, we've been talking about 4 of the most common roadblocks to execution. Yes, generally, when we're talking execution, we're talking about the actions that we're taking to move ourselves towards our desired result or goal. And those are critically important. We're looking for the actions that will move us the quickest with the least amount of time, energy, effort, brain power. So we're looking for the quickest, effective path towards our desired result. And yet, the roadblocks can undermine us. And when we allow the roadblocks to undermine us, when we don't realize that's what's happening, what we typically will do is we're not seeing the progress we want, so we change the action. And if you have that, if something isn't working well, you look at it and you think the challenge is the action, and you take a different action, and then nothing changes, you're still struggling. Really, that's a great time to look for these roadblocks. And today, the roadblock that we're going to talk about is missing information and/or skills. I can give you a great example for me. This haunted me for, over a year. And I kept changing things in my action, and the results weren't changing. If I go back a little bit more than a year ago, every video that I recorded, like this one, they tended to be fairly short. And the reason was I didn't edit anything. I just recorded. So if I bobbled in the middle, if I forgot something, I had to re-record it. So to create a fairly short video could take me, oh my gosh, when I think back on it, the amount of time that I spent re-recording certain videos it was long, and it was a struggle. And I really enjoyed video, and yet this just felt like I was leaning into a 200-pound weight trying to push it uphill. I changed things in my process. I changed how I prep for video, and none of it changed. And then I realized I had made up my mind without giving it conscious thought that I couldn't edit. So there was a mindset piece to it. And yet once I was like, oh, well, editing, maybe I can edit. I was missing information, specifically what was the app or piece of software that would be the one most likely to work well for someone who knows nothing at that time about editing, video, or anything else other than perhaps written content. So the first part for me was missing information. Once I got the information and the app that was suggested, then I needed to gain the skill of editing. So this is a great example from my life where I was struggling for a long time and playing around with action when really the problem was the roadblock of I needed information and then a new skill set. Whenever you're struggling and you've perhaps already made an adjustment to the action and it just doesn't seem to make a difference, really step back. And the first question we want to ask ourselves is our struggle due to effort? Is it effort related or knowledge related? Now, I will say that effort related, I'm a procrastinator in some areas, but once I've made up my mind I'm going to do something, I pretty much dig in and I have great consistency. I frequently will seek out people as thinking partners. I infrequently really am looking for someone that will help be an accountability partner for me. I'm pretty good at the accountability part. So it helps when we ask ourselves this question to know, is that sort of accountability effort, like if you frequently procrastinate, I don't feel like it. If that is typical for you, that's good to be aware of that when you ask this question. When I ask myself the question, is my struggle with effort or is my struggle with really knowledge? It was clearly knowledge. I was putting in the effort. I was consistent. My videos were still going out. They just were taking a really long time. So the first thing is we're looking to see what we feel the struggle. Is it effort or is it in knowledge? That's the first part of figuring out if this roadblock is at play. The next piece, and my editing journey is also a great illustration of this, is once we determine that it's an information or skill, we're looking for what's the smallest amount of skill that we really need to make a difference in this situation. In other words, I wasn't looking to become a great editor. I was looking in the beginning on the most basic editing. Now, again, it was helpful I found the right tool thanks to recommendations from people. And yet, then the other thing we have to be aware of is then once we decide we need to learn it, that then we stop doing the work to learn the skill. So for me, I learned the skill by starting to edit my videos. And no, I wasn't very good when I started, but it was good enough. I did not try and learn everything on editing. I did not stop doing videos to learn how to edit. That's really the important thing. I kept moving forward on the task while I was learning the skill. So the first thing is we're looking for effort or knowledge. Does mindset play into it? And do we really think this is an information or knowledge issue or a mindset issue? Then we're going to look and say, what's the smallest amount of this skill or information that I need to keep me moving? Do not stop, generally speaking. We're not going to stop our action to fully learn and become a master at this skill. We want to learn the skill as we go along so that we're continuing to make progress. Remember, that's why we want the skill. In this case, we're not wanting the skill for the sake of the skill. The skill relates to one of our priorities. So we don't want to stop working on our priority to gain the skill. We're looking to gain the skill as we are continuing to stay in action. The final piece, and this is definitely related to what we just talked about, is what's the fastest way to start gaining this skill or knowledge that we require. Now, depending on what you're looking for, this could be an article, it could be a conversation with someone, it could be looking something up on YouTube. But we are looking for, number one, to pinpoint, is this the roadblock? Then we're really looking to see what's the amount of skill that I need to make the difference or information. And then we're looking for the quickest way to get it, a tutorial, a video, a conversation. So the roadblock of requiring information and or additional knowledge or skill can be significant. And when we really feel like we're pushing uphill a 200-pound weight, and we've perhaps already tried adjusting our action and we're struggling, we want to look and do a bit of an analysis. Are we missing information and or knowledge or skill? So this is the end of our 4-part series on execution roadblocks. That's it for this week. Bye for now.